Mama tried to drown her baby in the well. The rancher pulled him out alive. Chapter 1. The Water Knows Jack. Brennan heard the splash from his bedroom window, not the sound of a bucket hitting water. Something heavier, something wrong. He grabbed his boots and the shotgun from beside his bed, moving through the dark house with the quiet precision of a man who'd spent 40 years on this land. The back door creaked as he stepped onto the porch. Moonlight cut silver across his property, and there, at the stone well near the barn, a figure knelt in the dirt, a woman. Her dark hair hung loose around her shoulders, and her arms were submerged to the elbows in the black water below. "Ma'am," his voice carried across the yard. "You need to step away from there." She didn't move, didn't even lift her head. Jack approached slowly, the shotgun loose in his hands but ready. "I said step back. I can't." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I can't let go." Let go of what? When she finally looked up, her face was streaked with tears and something darker. He won't stop crying. He just won't stop. Jack's blood went cold. He could see it now, the way her arms moved beneath the surface, holding something down. Something small that wasn't moving anymore. Jesus Christ. "Lady, what have you done?" "What I had to do." She met his eyes and he saw no madness there, only a terrible broken clarity. "What no one else would do. Pull your hands out of that water. Right now. You don't understand. You don't know what he is, what his blood carries." Jack stepped closer, close enough to see the bundle in her arms beneath the dark surface. "I understand you're drowning a baby. I'm drowning a curse. Same damn thing." He set the shotgun against the well's stone edge and knelt beside her. "Let me take him." "No." Her grip tightened. "You'll give him back to them. You'll let them make him into what they are. I won't let anybody make him into anything if he's dead." Jack's hands hovered over hers. "Let go." She looked at him for a long moment, searching his face in the moonlight. Then her fingers loosened, just enough. Jack plunged his hands into the cold water and pulled the small body free. Chapter 2. What She Couldn't Say. The baby's chest convulsed. Water spilled from his tiny mouth as Jack pressed his palm against the small back, forcing life back into lungs that had given up. A weak cry pierced the night air. "He's breathing." Jack cradled the infant against his chest, feeling the flutter of a heartbeat. "You almost killed him. I should have finished it." The woman sat back on her heels, staring at her wet hands. "Should have held him under longer." What kind of mother talks like that? The kind who knows what's coming for him. She wiped her face with the back of her sleeve. "You think you saved him? You just gave him back to hell." Jack wrapped the baby in his jacket, the small body trembling against the fabric. "What's your name?" "Mia. Mia McKenna." "Well, Mia McKenna, you just tried to murder your own child." "Not my child." Her voice cracked. "His child. Senator Caldwell's boy." The name hit Jack like a physical blow. Everyone in 3 counties knew that name. Old money, old power. The kind of family that owned judges and sheriffs like livestock. "Caldwell forced himself on you." "Forced?" Mia laughed, bitter and hollow. "He didn't have to force anything. I was 16, working in his wife's kitchen. He said I was special, said he'd take care of me. So you ran when you got pregnant." I tried to tell his wife. Thought maybe she'd help me. Mia's hands shook as she spoke. She called me a lying whore. Said if I ever spoke his name again, they'd make sure I disappeared. The baby whimpered, and Jack rocked him gently. "So you came here to kill him?" "I came here to save him." Mia stood up, water dripping from her dress. "You don't know what that family does to their bastards. The ones who live long enough to threaten the bloodline. And you think drowning is mercy. I think drowning is faster than what they do." She looked at the baby in Jack's arms. "He's got his father's eyes." "Same ice blue. They'll see it the moment they look at him. Maybe they won't come looking. They're already looking." Mia backed away from the well. "I stole him from the home they put me in. Been running for 3 days. They'll find us by morning. Then we call the sheriff. Sheriff works for them. Always has." Mia's voice dropped to a whisper. "There's nowhere to run, Mr. Brennan, and some things are worse than dying." Chapter 3. The Sheriff's Questions. The first grey light of dawn was creeping over the hills when Jack heard the car doors slam. Two figures walked up his gravel drive, badges catching the early light. Sheriff Morton and his deputy, both moving with the slow confidence of men who owned the ground they walked on. Jack met them on the porch, the baby still sleeping against his chest. "Sheriff?" "Morning, Jack." Morton tipped his hat, eyes already scanning the property. "Got a call about some trouble out here." "What kind of call?" "Missing persons. Young woman named Mia McKenna. Took something that don't belong to her." Morton's gaze settled on the bundle in Jack's arms. "That wouldn't be state property you're holding, would it?" Mia stepped out from behind the barn where she'd been hiding. "I'm right here, Sheriff. Mia McKenna." Morton's voice carried the weight of authority. "You're under arrest for kidnapping and child endangerment. Kidnapping my own baby. Baby belongs to the state now. Court order came through yesterday." Morton pulled folded papers from his jacket. "Signed by Judge Harrison himself." Jack felt something cold settle in his stomach. "On what grounds?" "Unfit mother. Mental instability." Morton looked at Mia. "Heard you tried to drown the child tonight." "That's not what happened." Mia's voice shook. "I was baptizing him. In the old way. The way my grandmother taught me." Jack stared at her. This wasn't the story she'd told him by the well. Baptizing? The deputy laughed. "At midnight. In a well. The water has to be living water. Not from a church font." Mia's eyes never left Morton's face. "My baby was sick, fevered. I was trying to break the curse on him." "What curse?" Jack asked. "The one his bloodline carries. The one that makes them what they are." Mia stepped closer to Morton. "You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Sheriff? You've seen what happens to the women who cross that family." Morton's hand moved to his gun. "I think you've said enough. Have I? Or should I tell Mr. Brennan about your daughter? The one who went missing after she started working for the Caldwells." Mia's voice cut through the morning air like a blade. "How long did you look for her before you stopped asking questions?" The sheriff's face went pale. "Shut your mouth. She's buried out behind their hunting cabin." "Been there 2 years now." Jack looked between them, understanding finally settling over him like ice water. The law wasn't here to help. It was here to clean up. Chapter 4. Blood Memory. The sheriff and his deputy were gone, retreating to their car with empty hands and Mia's threats ringing in their ears. Jack stood in his kitchen, watching Mia pace by the window while the baby slept in a makeshift crib he'd built from a drawer and blankets. "Why my well?" Jack asked. "You could have gone anywhere." Mia stopped pacing. "You really don't know, do you?" "Know what? Whose land this used to be?" She turned to face him. "Before your grandfather bought it in 1943. Before the bank foreclosed on the original owners." Jack felt something shift in his chest. "Tell me!" "This was Caldwell land, all of it. 3,000 acres stretching from here to the river." Mia walked to the kitchen sink, staring out at the well. "That well you just pulled my baby from?" "Richard Caldwell dug it himself in 1891. Richard Caldwell, the senator's great-grandfather. First one to get his hands bloody building their fortune." Mia's voice dropped to a whisper. "You know what else he dug out there?" Jack didn't want to ask, but he had to. "What?" "Graves. When the hired girls got pregnant, when they threatened to talk." Mia pressed her palms against the sink. "My grandmother worked this land. Told me stories about the women who disappeared. About the babies who never lived to see daylight. Jesus, I brought him here because I thought the water would remember. Thought it would take him quick and clean, like it should have taken the others." Mia looked back at the sleeping baby. "But you were here, and you pulled him out. Maybe the water wanted him to live. Maybe the water wanted something else." She moved to the crib, touching the baby's cheek with one finger. "My grandmother used to say this place holds on to pain. Stores it up like a battery." Jack thought about all the nights he'd heard strange sounds from the well. All the times his animals avoided that corner of the property. "What's his name?" "I never gave him one. Figured there wasn't any point." Mia picked up the baby, holding him close. "But if he's going to live, he needs something to call himself." "Samuel," Jack said without thinking. "After my father. Samuel." Mia tested the name. "Samuel Brennan, not McKenna. McKenna dies with me. This boy needs a clean start." Chapter 5. The governor's son. The black sedan appeared on the horizon like a storm cloud, cutting through the heat shimmer rising from the county road. Jack watched it approach from his kitchen window, Mia beside him holding little Samuel against her chest. "He found us." Mia's voice was barely a whisper. The car pulled into Jack's driveway with practiced precision. The engine died, and for a moment nothing moved. Then the driver's door opened, and Senator Robert Caldwell stepped out into the morning sun. He looked exactly like his newspaper photos. Tall, silver-haired, wearing a suit that cost more than most people made in a year. But it was his eyes that made Jack's skin crawl. "Ice blue, just like the baby's, cold as winter water, Mr. Brennan." Caldwell's voice carried across the yard, smooth as aged whiskey. "I believe you have something of mine." Jack stepped onto the porch. "Don't see how that's possible." "I think you do." Caldwell walked closer, his polished shoes crunching on the gravel. "Young Mia's been telling stories, hasn't she? Filling your head with lies. She told me about a 16-year-old girl, about a man who took what he wanted." Caldwell smiled, showing perfect white teeth. "Mia was 17, and she was more than willing, I assure you." "Bullshit." "Careful, Mr. Brennan. I'd hate for the county to reassess your property taxes." "Amazing how these old ranch assessments can get corrected." Caldwell reached into his jacket. "I have adoption papers here. Legal guardianship transfer. The child comes with me and everyone walks away clean." Mia appeared in the doorway, Samuel in her arms. "I'm not giving him to you." "Mia, sweetheart." Caldwell's voice turned honey-soft. "Look at yourself. Living in poverty, running from the law. Is that the life you want for our son?" "He's not your son. DNA says otherwise." "I had samples taken from the hospital where you gave birth." Caldwell pulled out a folder. "Scientific proof. Legal documentation. This child belongs with his father." Jack stepped between them. "The boy stays here, and you are the man who's telling you to get back in your car." Caldwell's smile never wavered, but something shifted behind his eyes. "You have no idea who you're threatening, do you, Mr. Brennan? I own the sheriff. I own the judge. I own the bank that holds your mortgage. But you don't own me, not yet." Caldwell looked past. Jack to Mia. "But I will." Chapter 6. What drowns and what survives. Caldwell left when the sun reached its peak, his threats hanging in the air like smoke. Jack found the letter on his kitchen table an hour later, Mia's handwriting shaky but clear across the white paper. "Mr. Brennan, I'm going where he can't follow. Samuel is yours now. The well knows what it's supposed to protect. Don't let them take him back to that house." Jack ran outside, calling her name, but the land stretched empty in every direction. She'd taken nothing but the clothes on her back, leaving behind even the small bag she'd carried when she first arrived. He found himself walking to the well as darkness fell, Samuel sleeping against his shoulder. The stone circle looked different now, older somehow, like it had been waiting for this moment since the day it was dug. "She's gone," Jack spoke to the night air, to whatever spirits Mia believed lived in the water below. "Left me with her boy." The wind picked up, rustling through the cottonwoods that grew near the well's edge. In the distance, a coyote called out, lonely and wild. Jack thought about Mia's grandmother, about all the women who'd worked this land and disappeared without a trace, about the graves that might still be hidden somewhere in the darkness beyond his property line. "I don't know what I'm doing," he said to Samuel, the baby's small hand gripping his finger. "Don't know how to raise a child or fight a family like the Caldwells." But even as he spoke the words, Jack knew he'd figure it out. Had to figure it out, because Mia was right about one thing. This well remembered everything. The pain, the loss, the women who'd been silenced before they could speak their truth. "Your mama tried to drown you in this water," Jack whispered. "But maybe she was really trying to baptize you. Make you clean of their blood." Samuel stirred in his arms, those ice-blue eyes opening for just a moment before closing again. Jack turned away from the well and walked back toward the house, carrying the child who would grow up knowing only one father. The father who'd pulled him from the dark water and chosen to keep him breathing.